Alright, welcome back everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第294天 is day 294. We are within 1 week from our 300 review. I think there is going to be something that happens in between here and there. I think there might be a Persona 5 Phantom X update sometime. But we are getting ready, preparing for kind of collecting the ideas and thoughts around the last 100 days. There still hasn't been an update in sight for HanziHero, so that's kind of a little disappointing. Let's get right into it though. This has been business as usual. There was a little fun little hiccup with a lot of characters in between in one of the units, but it seems like it's typically 14 or 13 and 7, right? It's been 13 and 7 for the last 2 or 3 days now. Let's see, we have Jai, right? Oh wait, Jai Depp. I think that crosses, pretty sure, probably. And then Yima. Or married, maternal, aunt, right? And Zhu. Childish. That's it for yesterday. Pretty decent. We actually started with HanziHero yesterday. Things kind of went pretty quickly. Alright, let's hop into our lesson. 禁忌 taboo, prohibit, 忌 prohibit and shun. Okay.
禁忌牵扯
牵扯 Tian, our only caterpillar at the moment. Kind of dropped that component a bit yesterday. Tian Che. So lead, right? Lead and then Che. Che to pull along, right? To involve. Makes sense. Or to implicate. Interesting.
牵扯妥协
妥协 Tuo is appropriate, and then xie, cooperation, compromise. That's
妥协化妆
化妆 change attire, change makeup, or to transform. That's fair. Or makeup, apply makeup. Okay.
化妆
化妆
拳头
拳头 拳头 fist, head. Head typically is used for something that has some sort of face quality. So like your tongue has a face, and technically your belly has a face too. So that kind of thing. Something that has somewhat of a head shape. as a way to complement 拳头
拳头，
拳头 not 拳头拳头拳头 okay. Jing is a little weak right now.
竞技，
Takes a little bit actually.
妥协，
妥协牵扯
牵扯，
牵扯
拳头，
拳头
化妆，
诶
妥善，
火象 that would be appropriate, virtuous, okay, proper, fair enough, or appropriate. Yeah. 象 is a little bit weak. Just reviewing my safety net for 象
妥善，忌口，
忌口 Ji is our new one, right? Ji shun mouth to avoid certain foods from eating. So mouth tends to be involved in lots of forms. So say, talking, and eating. So we've kind of flexed away from using mouth specifically in our mnemonics.
忌口，枚举，
枚举 may small objects, and then 举 lift small objects to enumerate. Okay, to lift up small objects. I can kind of see that. To kind of like accentuate them one by one. Yeah, to count them, to lift and count them, to enumerate. So try to remember that.
枚举，
Yeah. How do you? Okay.
哑巴，
Yaba. Yaba. Interesting. They put crust for. I think crust, it doesn't really work that well. It's also like an object thing. So what we have mouth, tail, and then transliteration for Paris, and then we have literal crust, and to get cocky. Interesting. And then a mute. Yeah, the way ba works is not quite. I don't have a unifying way of looking at ba. It almost feels like it's a supplemental character, right? In its use a lot of times. Outside of the one quest. Yeah, ba. Okay, a mute person's fine.
哑巴，
Yeah, ba.
拳击，
拳击. So fist beating. Boxing. It's kind of cute. 拳击.
拳击，
Okay.
妥善，
火象. 妥象. Okay.
枚举，忌口，拳击，
Whoops. I fat fingered it. Whoops.
哑巴，氏族，
氏族. Okay, clan, fair enough. It's awfully specific. Yeah. I am probably still gonna put family name. Largely for the same reasons they talked about, where the two things kind of merged.
氏族，
氏族，氏族。
尼姑，
尼姑。Nun, Ni, and Gu. Fraternal. Oh my goodness. I think this might be a little bit problematic. Yeah, Buddhist nun? Interesting. Yeah, Niku. This one's gonna be a little rough. This does look like Gu though. This is a little bit weak because aunts and uncles are kind of wacky. But Ni does carry, so we'll go with that.
尼姑，朝廷，
All Ting. Oh, dynasty, royal courts, imperial court is fair enough. I mean, royal court, imperial court, dynastic court is fine too. It's a form of royal, imperial. I mean, you might even go with oh yeah, imperial. I was thinking it was spelled differently. Yeah.
"朝廷，赵，
Zhao. Zhao Omen. With the turtle shell? Oh no. Okay. These are going to be the ones where we can add Omen to the turtle shell. So that's probably what we're going to do right away. So we'll just add Omen to this. It gives us more flex, so we can use it as a turtle shell or as an Omen, since we've already understand turtle shell. James Bond is in the bathroom of the barn, washing his hands of cow manure. Okay. While washing his hands, a small turtle shell falls on his head. That's a bad omen, he mutters. He opens up the turtle shell. Inside is a piece of paper describing his next mission. Yet another stupid mission he good enough for me. Although doesn't quite place him in he's washing his hand. Okay, I see. Yi Chao. Oh, encounter. Wait, before Omen? Oh, I see. So like prior in advance. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
赵，
I was gonna say it was also Ye. Or is it Yi? It's also Yi. To encounter an enemy.
魏，
Wait, to fear. Interesting. How does this line up with... Oh, you also look like... which one am I thinking of? Sung. You kind of look like Sung. Why am I thinking of Sung right now? Oh, because of the bottom. Oh, that's interesting. It is quite similar when it comes to like drawing structures. Obviously, a rice field is very different from boomboxes and cross. Boombox and cross. Let's see. It's that beret on the bottom. I wonder if this is lined up with like Wei Pa or Wei Kong. or 恐畏, something like that, with dread. Possibly even hesitation, things that deal with hesitation. Walter White is in the bathroom of the beach house by the bay. He has been converted into a sandy rice field from disuse. Or it has been converted. Okay, it's just randomly. It has been converted into a rice field from disuse. And Walter White is trying to find the toilet. He finally finds it and opens it, only to find it's full of berets. Walter, fearing what he... Okay, we're going. There's some really outrageous things going on here. Way too out there. So let's just say Walter White retreated to the bathroom of the beach house, right? Hiding from in fear, fearing that the berets, or just say the beret wearing, it's not beret, sorry, berets, beret wearing pursuers are now crossing the rice field outside the bathroom window. Basically outside the bathroom. Rice field outside the bathroom, crossing the rice field and onto the beach, right? Outside the house, the beach house. Okay. Fear. Oh, fearless. Yeah. 无畏. Flinch. 畏缩. Intriguing. Really? Shrink. Oh, 微缩. Yeah. 微缩. Okay. That's two in the same direction. You're shrinking and fearing, as opposed to the shrinking of fear, which would be the other way around, like becoming braver. 畏惧. I don't have G yet. Oh, so nothing with an established character yet. Interesting.
氏族
氏族
尼姑 魏
Okay.
赵 朝廷
Alright.
耻
Shame. Intriguing. I wonder what shame is gonna be linked with. Maybe like shame and sadness or something. Like 慈悲 悲耻, or what else? Like disappointment possibly, or regret. 耻恨. Maybe even trapped in shame, like 吃困. That would change shame into something like, I don't know, maybe misery or despair. Charlie Brown is in the basement of the house where he comes across a heart with two big ears that says Charlie's ears are so small. Okay, all right. This is where body parts are a problem, right? We have double body parts. That's when, in my opinion, I pivot away from this. So this is one of the things I'm actively pivoting away. Instead, we can also pivot with what the body parts do, which is what hasn't been used or occupied. So ear can also mean hearing, and then heart can mean like feelings and thinking, which is a very strong aspect of Chinese characters, actually, where when you're using these characters, they do exude their things. Thinking is kind of a thing from both Japanese and Chinese, really. Like the heart tends to be a thinker and a container of emotions and emotions and decision making. So let's make it that way. So Charlie Brown is in the basement of the house. Trying to listen to his heart. Right. Ear. Right. To his heart. Right. Emotions. Basically the next thing. About why he often feels shame. That's it. That's Charlie Brown for you. 可耻. Okay. Shameful. 可耻. 可耻. Shameless. Fair. 无耻. And 耻辱. Disgrace. Wow. Alright. It's kind of interesting that the choices that they have tends to be like 可 or the properties of it, and then which 可 is slowly becoming a simple modifier companion. It's almost like a built-in grammar system, right? Like 可, and then 无 is the same thing. One of the properties of Chinese built-in grammar system with the characters. 耻.
仇
仇? Animosity. That's very specific. Enmity. Yeah, animosity, huh? Charlie Brown with animosity. Oh boy. Charlie Brown is inside the bakery, up against the corner, surrounded by 9 slender men who took a look at him with intense animosity. The reason? Charlie Brown refuses to give a discount on their croissants for being famous. Likewise, Charlie feels animosity towards those entitled. I mean, that's fine. It's just his job, you know. He's doing his job. Fair enough. To take revenge. 报仇. Yeah. You hear that a lot. 报仇. Oh no, 报仇. Sorry, not 报仇. 报仇. Yeah. 报仇 is so common in movies. That's kind of interesting now that I look at it as like report. Yeah, report animosity. I was gonna say embrace, but Bao is also not this character, but the sound. Bao Chou. What is that? 你帮我报仇, right? Help me get revenge. 仇人. Personal enemy. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, alright.
仇
Oh.
眼
Yen. Yen. To develop. Wait, did the Cho? Okay, it's in the bakery. Yen. Yen. To develop. Interesting. That's a weird looking character. It's not every day that you see spray and water in the middle of something. It's usually either the left or like on the exterior of the character. That's an interesting looking character. I mean, it still happens, but not. That's very uncommon so far. Yoshi is in the basement of the pawn shop, where he is developing a new type of waterproof sandals that he hopes to sell there. That kind of sounds like Jimmy Neutron. He sprays his sandals with water to see if they actually waterproof, but they aren't. He still needs to develop them further. This sounds too much like Jimmy Neutron. Yoshi is in the basement of the pawn shop, looking for some, you know, being curious. Came across some, right, developing his understanding of footwear for dinosaurs, or that could be useful for dinosaurs, which is kind of like, it's starting to sound like Quasimodo and Pinocchio, but go for it. Saw some secondhand sandals that seems to be not affected by water sprays. That's just another way to say waterproof, but we're gonna incorporate the water into it. So right, helpful for adventures. Right, just with Mario. Sure. To give rise to. Okay. Interesting. With Sheng. Yan Sheng. Ooh. Yan. Perfunctory. Man, I haven't used perfunctory in quite some time. But boy howdy. Eventually we're gonna get perfunctory.
眼朽
Xiu. Ah, I wonder if this is the other half of Xiu Lan. Or is it Lian? No, Xiao Lan. Nina's in the basement of the bakery where she is down and out. She sits underneath a rotten tree. Is down and out. Bakery. Sits underneath a rotten tree with a rotten handle, begging for any spare baking supplies or coupons they have. The baker at work ignore her. She curses her rotten luck. That kinda sounds dire. So it's kinda not like Charlie Brown, but at the same time, handle. I'm gonna be like, Xena went to the basement of the bakery to look for some ingredients, right? Some ingredients for croissants. Opening a wooden, finding the wooden storage handle. Using the handle to the wooden storage. To her dismay, the ingredients have gone rotten. She's just handling the bakery. A retired warrior and a baker. Becoming a baker is kind of, and it's in the basement. It's kind of an archetype that I tend to associate. Fuxiu. Fuxiu. Oh, the other run, Fuxiu. Okay. So they chose Fu as opposed to Lan. Ooh, Fuxiu. Immortal. Interesting. That's quite a leap.
朽
Qiu.
邪
Xie, evil. I think I have an evil, right? Yeah. What is it? Or no. I no. Oh no, wait. I think it might have been Ya. It's one of them. This kind of looks like a Ya, but it's not. Xie. Interesting. Okay. Xena is inside the electricity plant where she suddenly she hears oh my gosh, suddenly she hears an evil voice. A second later, two evil hills made entirely of teeth began to rise out from the electricity plant floor, soaring to the see, this is technically, I know tooth is not a body, sort of a body part. Yeah, teeth. And hill is not great too. Typically I use it as a mound or something that large, like a mound of stuff. Evil. I mean, it kind of looks like mysticism, which Xena does encounter. Hills. Maybe we can play on the more archaic type. So inside the electricity plant, despite it being an electricity plant, maybe a place that energy is being generated, right? She is acting as a guard, right? Maybe where she works as a guard. She notices hills of teeth being used to generate energy, and starts to wonder what evils supply such a large quantity of teeth. Evil. That's gonna be rough. There's another evil too. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, it's yep. Shit, and then 无邪. It's the other evil that I can think of.
邪
All right.
耻
That one's good. This one's
邪
kind of rough. Oh, cruel is the other one too, and it also uses Xena. 凶. Right, 凶 is cruel, and I thought maybe there's a 凶邪. Yeah, cruel, which happens to be 凶. Okay.
眼
This one is a little bit weird.
愁
Animosity.
朽
Okay. All right. I'm a little bit tired. Yesterday, daylight savings time. I'm basically, I went 1 hour longer, and then only to wake up 1 hour earlier. So that's kind of where I'm a little bit low on the stamina department. We'll be fine though. Let's get into our review. So today might be a little bit on the rough side. Um,
洒水器
请启动洒水器。
消耗
汽车开动时消耗油料。
阳
Uh-oh.
严肃
会议上气氛很严肃。
Or serious. Fine. Did we go with crust for this? Okay. Uh,
月
okay. Stern is fine.
暴风雨
暴风雨造成了停电。
What happened? What? Oh, wait. Hold on.
存在
那个问题已经不存在了。
奔跑
他一边奔跑一边大叫。
乳衣带
这一带有学校吗？
这一带有学校吗? What? Oh, region probably. Or area, sure.
60
我有60块钱。
That's interesting. Huh. Huh.
花瓶，
桌子上有个花瓶。
Oh no, is this Lee
梨，
fraction? We kind of practiced this, but it's been a while. Okay. That's not great. Hang on, I gotta ban something. Alright, let me see if this is a new URL or I've already added this to the moderator list. Auto moderation. One day, I'm gonna keep saying this, one day. Yep, they keep switching the number. So they pretty much bought all the domains and the number just changes. It says top and then the number changes over and over again. And it's either a .ru or a .online domain, of course. They can also switch out the second word, auto generation. Such low effort scum. Not much to say about it other than that. I mean, I'd be more willing to buy something if not so low effort. Just saying. It's not only a dubious form of business or lack of rinsing services, but in addition, it's so low effort that despite even being dubious and gray zone, it is void of any form of admiration or impression. We're talking about like viewbotting, viewbot and viewer services, which it seems like it's such a secondary task for Twitch moderation. Happens on a daily basis. And this time they've increased the algorithm, so a double post with two different randomly at strings in order to make them appear. And out of sight, out of mind would be an interesting take, but you still see it, right? Still see it. And in my opinion, it dramatically affects the quality and the appearance of the person, not necessarily the people who can't see it, but the person who's operating. So what's interesting about that is those things don't necessarily show up on YouTube when you're doing it. So it makes you kind of wonder what Twitch is doing about it. All right. Let's see. The last one is kind of weird. But if I had to... No, it's not that. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, it is.
衬衫，
衬衫。
这件衬衫的后身太长了。
We worked on Chen. Worked on it a bit. What, the alligator? Oh,
拖，
I'd have worked on that too.
舰队，
舰队正在海上航行。
The comment that I'm making about like constant spam, daily spam, low effort daily spam and doubling, tripling, that type of thing I think goes a long way to understanding the current standards and quality of life improvements that can dramatically affect the consistency of people's experiences, right? And it will continue to be that way. So where there's consistent passive, lackadaisical, low effort exploitation and bottom of the barrel fishing. I think one thing that people who encounter these things can contribute to maybe a better society or a greater society is to have more and more and contribute consistently to combat it. Letting them complacently go unnoticed is effectively making it complacent, right? So I'm not complicit in not bringing it up each time. You can find very creative ways to bring attention to those things. Fortunately, I'm not a crusader. So, or fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not a crusader. There are quite a lot of interesting content creators out there who specializes in these countermeasures, right? Counter-offensive measures for these. And in a way, it would be kind of fun to don the crusader mask, but in my opinion, that is definitely up to someone else. Raising awareness is great, though. I think effectively you're not really hurting their feelings at all, because the entities that you interact with and ban and constantly criticize, those who run those services, in my opinion, probably are void of any sensitive feelings in general. They probably have like 30 to 40 involuntary walls and semantical walls to protect them and shelter and seal themselves from the dubious, potentially morally questionable services that they do for a lifetime. It's kind of a damper on things. Okay. How the mountain does this work? Oh.
虫协会
这个协会每周都有活动。
协会 cooperating and meeting? Huh.
团同
Or I guess it could be like a entity, like an association. Probably like an association of sorts. What the? Wait. Oh, that's not shellfish. Wait. It's still hard to imagine what that is. What is that? Is that supposed to be a spoon? It's not supposed to be a spoon, is it? It is.
"倾听
他喜欢倾听自然的声音。
And yep. Figured.
Qua
Qua is starting to get looser and looser. No.
压扁
我把罐子压扁了。
I gotta make sure I can still differentiate between ya and yin. I feel ya and yin. Oh, it's because it's probably... Let's double check. no dirt. And it's no dirt, right? Yeah, it's just no dirt. Yan yin. Oops.
都拼图
这个拼图有500块。
宠爱
他宠爱他的孩子。
爆炸
工厂发生了爆炸。
青铜
青铜用于制作各种工具。
Wait.
欺负
他被同学欺负了。
Hold off. Hmm.
雨滴
窗户上有雨滴。
What incarnation? Oh,
盼
we worked on that too.
笔杆
这支笔杆很粗。
绕
Like, move around, get around, go around. Okay. Alright. What the heck? Fire? What in the double fire? Oh no. I actually... What? I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna say it's probably... There's only one combination of this. Like... Cho Yin. Oh wait. Oh Yin. Right? I think.
麦太
Tai is weak. Lots of Tarzan ones are kind of weak. What in the holy cross on a folding stool? Somehow I blame mulberry and mugwort. No, it's not that. It's not that either. I don't know which one's more confusing, the cross or the tree. I've used it as faith. Maybe something like,
之
oh my gosh, it's heckin' zhi. I mean, it looks like zhi, but I still don't know what it is. Oh, maybe it's just a branch. Okay, alright. I mean, it looks like a branch, you know? It looks like a branch. Zhi is also a branch, the right hand without the tree. It's like, it's so on the nose that I overthought it. I was looking for something more complicated than branch. I'm like, it couldn't be a branch, right? It looks like a branch, but a different branch. It's two different branches. Okay.
疾病
向疾病开战，
Obviously, this wouldn't be as difficult if there was context sentences than it was in a vocabulary. It's funny when it works out, though. What?
凸显
他的说话方式凸显了他的自信。
Like show well, show clearly, maybe. Yeah. What am I looking at? It seems like I should really know this, like right off the bat, and then I'm like, I don't anymore. This was what I was talking about from Wanikani's perspective in the 300 thing yesterday. I think when you're learning stuff like this and in this approach, it has the opposite effect. More strokes and higher complexity leads to more consistency in encoding and recall than simpler standalone characters, because there's not much to work with. And even despite possibly knowing the simpler thing, I still question it. Yeah, like it could be anyone. This is new-ish. Like, I need to see it in a vocabulary word. I can't. It's an umbrella. I'm gonna say... I have no idea. Maybe it'll come to me later. Who knows? What in the world? Oh. Oh no, that's not it. That's a problem.
恰好
我恰好有一点时间可以帮助你。
干驻守
政府已经在关口驻守了军队。
更
The right one is definitely yin. Oh, I know what that is. Mei yin? Yeah, it's probably Mei yin.
港你力
Okay.
狠心
他是一个狠心的老人，
Or like ruthless, like bad, heartless, yeah, callous. I was cold-hearted. Thing. Okay.
自杀
自杀是个坏主意。
寻寻
That's such a coincidence. What the tower next to Han Han not Han.
煤烟
煤烟污染是健康问题。
最花心
花心男人，
Or like unfaithful. Unfaithful is either unfaithful or promiscuous to some extent.
会
Excuse me. How did Hui work? That one can be lost. Scary. Oh, heckin' Chui.
吹
Oh, go Chui off, okay.
汗
This help? That's not it. So fun wasn't fun. This wasn't fun. It's new. Oh no, wait. It might not be new. Because I'm thinking of fist. I mean, something makes me want to do like... It's not it, but I was hoping thinking about it leads me to something else.
宣布，
公司宣布了新的政策。
感情，
你要理解他的感情。
What? Oh, why did I type shu instead of hua? That was a little weird.
"传输，
网络是一种方便的信息传输工具。
It's transport or transmission. Yeah, it's fine. It's the carrying that's the point. You're carrying something. Oh, that's Xifang, not Xing. I had no idea what was going on in my brain. Brain. What?
以上，
这里有10个人以上。
据，
Oh no, that's distant.
红色，
一台红色的车，
油画，
他会画油画。
I don't know how that actually works. If I wrote that. If that is correct, it's not. How do I not know what this is? I don't know. Alright, I'm giving up. Home. Oh, it's the hole? Yeah. Do I have any modifications for this? I don't really think so. Home is just sucky at the moment. I mean, it's really good, the mnemonic, but... And this is the same deal. It's moon, and crust. Crust is really bad. It doesn't really mean crust most of the time. And moon, it's moon, one of the top 3. Moon and sun. And then it has something to do with meat. Can't seem to think of a property of meat. Oh, I know what it is.
肥肉，
减肥时应该少吃肥肉。
Largely because it says 减肥 on the left side, 减肥, which is to lose weight. Yeah, that doesn't look like a fei. It looks like a ba. What is this? Or distance. Oh, what a coincidence. We got this today. Need to pick.
树，
Or mention? Narrate? Oh, narrate is good too, actually. We should add narrate to the other one. Huh. Little Shellen Road.
逃走，
他从监狱逃走了。
恐，
I'm not angry about Kong. That's not disappointing at all. Kong is not disappointing. Oh, that's Japanese. Thinking Japanese there. 线条.
线条，
这是他的欠条。
Heck. Compass. Yellow.
诗，
Okay.
列车，
我们搭乘了快速列车。
Wait. 列车 like line up car? What the? No, wait. Huh. I forgot the trombone and the dollhouse. MAKU. Is it? No.
雨，
Oh no, is this Eves? Oh, Eves? Oh my gosh, heckin' Eves, man. Oh, their turn. Good morning. Heckin' Eves. Nope. Huh.
润，
Your national exam starts today. Good luck, good luck. And you have to need to go to the school in the afternoon. Yeah, I saw you were studying for the SEJ. Is that your abbreviation for national exam? Oh boy, I'm not thinking clearly. Oh, pretty sure. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's fine.
容
SEJ is abbreviation for, which is Malay for history. Ah, okay. Your national exam is SPM, which is Malaysian Education Certificate. Oh, okay. Fair enough. So you were studying for more than one thing. Interesting. Not thinking clearly. Oh, I haven't decided what you are. I really thought you were fun. You have 11 subjects to take? Like exam period? Or what do you mean? I don't understand.
西方
我在西方出生，
Interesting. Why do I keep leaning on Ba? $11 subjects for SPM. Oh, okay. And it's gonna last 2 months. That sounds like a big deal. Good luck, good luck. December 23rd, the last day, which is when you take your Chinese exam, because your education minister promised to be done with SPM before Christmas. Oh, that's interesting. Hmm. The heck? Oh, I already did that. That doesn't quite make sense. Or does it? This week is Malay oral speaking test. Oh, I didn't realize you had oral. I guess this is where you graduate, right? You're working on all the things that involve graduating. And this is. Hey, my. Bears don't happen that much. Oh, I got it.
餐厅、
旅馆的餐厅在12楼。
剑客、
一位剑术高超的剑客。
Then this. The weakness here is probably because the demonic does not tie the wig with the grain. That's probably why this is. Yeah, but it's Qing. We are. This one is gonna get a pass in general. This is the new one, which there isn't much to do about this one other than we're using rote memory for this. What about you? Spray and how the toll? How the toll shima? I'm not even sure what that is. The young. I don't even think I have young. Cocoon. Kind of funny because the thing I'm thinking of is there's no way it's that. No. It kind of makes sense though. Huh.
光滑、
It
他
does
的头
make
发光
sense.
滑的像丝一样。
Oh my goodness. Glossy? Alright, well, okay.
沉、
Oh man, I can't believe that was glossy. I was trying to rule it out, but I guess it wasn't. So you got a week's worth of habit collection on your whiteboard. This is the first time you had this data. You think after you've done exercising, you'll collect all the habits in a list and determine if you want to do more or less of the habit for this week? That sounds like a solid plan, Jazz. I look forward to hearing what becomes of this week. Did I type yen for this? I did. Why did I type yen? Okay.
安慰、
我们应该安慰那些需要帮助的人。
How many characters I've learned until now? 2,000 plus? Like 2,100? Something like that? 2,100? We're in the HSK 7 to 8 optional territory at this point. Halo in the tree. I can't focus anymore. Okay. I typed yen. Or did I? I don't actually even remember what I typed. Oh, I typed wrong.
是 约
Don't remember. Hmm, 我从来没有过动漫什么I thought it was like 展览会Time is fine. It's the middle. It is the middle one. I have two characters that are kind of lining up here on the left. When you collect data you've never collected before, you just start where with the analyzing. Maybe after you get more data you will know better what to do with. You want to start somewhere? Yeah. I think starting with the literal metrics is pretty decent place, right? Something that you can consistently work into your workflow the whole time. So oftentimes it deals with an output. So you take a metric with an output and you start there, and then you can expand from there a lot of times. So if the task, like one habit, deals with I don't know, folding a piece of paper, the metric then would be to have how many folded pieces of paper. Obviously you can go as much detail as you want, but the idea is the data you're collecting, as it would be useful to be part of the routine, so then it doesn't feel like it's extra work. At least that's something that's worthwhile to mention. Yesterday we mentioned about trackers, and that's kind of how trackers can get you started. And then in order to not become dependent on the tracker, you can use the tracker to expand what information's. So whenever you have the tracker data, you can use that to inform where you expand your information you're collecting. So then the tracker doesn't feel like it's sitting there closing in your mindedness, right? Closing off your mind, but instead it's being used to expand your mind. I would say collecting a singular point consistently for a short period of time allows you to determine your workflow from there. Like the singular or the few metrics you collect will allow you to ask yourself questions that you're interested in. Like, I folded a lot of pieces of paper, but what does that mean to me? Right? Like if pieces of paper increased in number, what does that mean? And then when you ask that question, in my opinion, it will become obvious whether you continue, or it might become more obvious over time if you want to continue counting the pieces of folded paper, or you want more resolution and change pieces of folded paper to how many folds, and then what are the qualities of the folds. Then the quality of the folds replace the number of folded paper, but you can still continue to track the number of folded paper. However, now you have more resolution by looking at the fold quality of the paper. And you're asking yourself now, it's like, what makes fold quality of a paper? Then you start delving even deeper. So finding a solid metric that is already part of your routine is a great place to inspire yourself to find how much resolution you want, right? And you can always simplify as well. When you go too deep, you can realize also, okay, that's a little convoluted and difficult to weave in. Like, for example, I don't count the number of running steps that I take each day on my running route, despite doing it for more than 3 years now, right? And that's a part where I'm like, nah, that's too much. I'm not counting steps. Steps don't, like, not, it's captured by other metrics that I care recording. What are the two that I'm kind of mixing up? Let's get a buy on this. It's taking too long. Yen is definitely the one that is being lost. Yen and Nu. Yeah, I've legitimately lost Yen. Yen is the newer one. Yen was fine. We'll try to make it distinguishable from Nu. They're kind of related in its translation too, and its use case. Resentment versus anger. Is that supposed to be a snake? No, it's a paperclip. Oh, it's a snake in Wanikani. It's not a snake skin. Gotta look at because of the gap. Okay. All right. I think where is this just a complaint? Yeah. All right. No. Oh no, this is colliding with stairs. Whoops.
鞋
And then I've lost the middle. I know what the mnemonic is. Just don't know the person. So the person is not unique is the problem. So we have a jailer and a walking eye. They're keeping track of something. And it's definitely or yeah, it's the person that's being lost. Oh no, Jiang. Oh, I missed the Jiang. Oh no, wait, it's Jiang that was being confused. Okay, this one's fine. All the mnemonics are in place, so they are the correct mnemonics from the first attempt. I just happened to type Jiang multiple times, even though I meant Jiang. Or I might have typed Chang and I typed something else in the middle. I don't remember, but I didn't lose. I didn't forget anything.
幅度，
气温变化幅度很大。
I mean, width is fine too.
横向，
这条河流横向流过田野。
异
can
常，
get E.
这
is
台
gonna
电脑
be
异常慢。
fast. 异常。Like, yeah, okay. And then, do we take a look at this? Oh yeah, it's Qing.
晴，
This is a pass. Unless something else comes up, that's a pass.
展览会，
我从来没去过动漫展览会。
I don't know, is exhibition. So I was less confident about the one in the middle actually, than the other two. I'll let it go.
运，计，弓箭，
弓箭是古代中重要。
Yeah, and this, what is going on? Oh, wait.
百，
I forgot I forgot the E, the I forgot the I in it the whole time. There's like a range. Okay. Sometimes these things happen. You get kind of fixated and
引弓，
他们引弓瞄准前方。
或，
the human mind. What will we do? What the? Does it still come out as? Heck! Oh no.
帮，
Oh no. Oh wait. I have to rethink that. This one's a bit rough.
闷，群，
You only know Luo Jing, which is hawking. Oh, interesting. Huo Jing, hawking. Huo Jing. Oh, that's cute. As in, like the is that supposed to be alliteration, transliteration? Hawking, hawking for hawking for like just hawking. Oh, sorry, Huo Jing for, or is that actually what hawking is? Yeah, Stephen Hawking. Yeah, that's a cute name. Huo Jing. Oh, that's a coincidentally funny too. Like it has meaning. Sutton Gold. Hawking. That's great. That's a great name. Suddenly Gold. For Stephen Hawking's last name. I asked my parents what my first name would transliterate to, and I still have yet to find. Yeah, because the first syllable is not great. I'll think about it. Well, we'll see. Maybe. Huh. I think it's fun looking at transliterated words like 雷达 and 堂课. 雷达堂课游墨. Is MAKU my real name? No, it's not. It's unceremoniously my middle name though, since I don't have a middle name. So a child with a plate. This is definitely recent. Oh, and it's not great. There was like putting child on a plate or something. Oh no, I don't know how I rewrote it though. The subject is lost. My concern was probably the subject. It's kind of funny when I think of transliteration for MAKU. I think MAKU would be really funny. I'm thinking of this. Sorry, I'm using a mouse right now. Oh yeah, McDonald's is the other one too. Yeah, McDonald's you can get as well. But I was thinking of this. Mother and crying. Actually there are people who call me Mac. As a instead. But MAKU would be pretty funny. What transliteration characters did you choose? Oh, you know, mother crying. Why'd you choose that? Yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of people crying. Right. Sorry, that got a little dark. Alright, we're gonna pause this. Did I not type Mung? Oh, did I type Mung? Oh, okay. That's fine. We're good. Yeah, it's the first season of the month. I think I typed Mung, despite wanting to type Mung. That's fine for now.
人
This one is gonna fall by at some point.
灯泡
这个灯泡坏了，
What is the characters for McDonald's? Karen, what are the characters that they use? Let's see, MAKU do now. MAKU do now. MAKU do now. No, that sounds weird. MAKU do now. What does that mean? Benevolent. Wait. Oh, it means first season of the month. That's what they assign it to. First season of the month. We that was from yesterday, so we didn't get any vocabulary words yet. I don't know how it's being used. You only know, oh, okay. Which makes sense, it's the first month of the season. I don't remember the example of vocab yet. It's the newest one, so it takes 2 days before we get, if there is a vocab word. Usually I look at the samples, but that's for previewing.
喜
Oh, here it is. We can look at it actually.
梦
Oh, not first season, first month of the season. The other way around. What do they have No, they don't have any examples. So this is where it's become a bit more common. We're getting to a point where a lot of these characters don't have any vocabulary. We would have to go in a dictionary and look for one and then add it to HanziHero. So yeah, there isn't one. And usually when I assume there isn't a vocabulary word, it's probably like 字八头, like something that's silent. So 字八头, or 母不, that word, or something like that. It would pair up with something like 字, or a unit and that word at the end, or a complementary, like a direction or a characteristic and that word. So vocabulary words aren't always ascribed to every single character yet. The idea is yet. However, this HanziHero, you can add you can go into the dictionary and add it into the rotation, but we haven't gotten there yet. Not yet anyway. So you know a word, which is good because that kind of confirms some of the stuff. Some of the characters don't actually have any vocabulary words assigned to them yet, which we'll probably find in the wild. I imagine if they don't have any vocabulary words, they probably get modified by a holder character that characterizes the thing, which you kind of get used to already, where when you learn a new character, I'm like, well, this is Ting, right? Ting. It can be lumped with any form of imperial courtyard, public courtyard, big, small. This can probably link with all those other words to demonstrate a court, like different types of courts.
停
There is a vocabulary word for this though, which is like 宫, right? 宫廷 or 官, or 环, right? 环庭, something like that. Chinese is, I mean, I don't want to be playing favorites here, but Chinese has a really wonderful way of what I can feel about my parents when they're trying to learn English. I think definitely I feel it learning Chinese through vocabulary, because it doesn't do so hot in Japanese, and I totally get how other people distribute their efforts on, reading sentences and stuff. But Chinese has this way of connecting. Maybe it's because I've known my parents for quite some time. When you're bootstrapping through vocabulary in Chinese, it actually has a bridge, like a semi-bridge to the way you can feel characters in a sentence that Japanese does not, or to a lesser extent. And then English just out the window. So that's why my parents, whenever they are learning English, they think of English through vocabulary. But the problem with English is the vocabulary is like terrifyingly trite or terrifyingly concise in places and terrifyingly vague in other places. Meanwhile, Chinese has this ebb and flow with pairing and whatnot, and they have very much self-contained patterns when they use the character's essence. English just doesn't have any because of the way the alphabet works. And then Japanese, there's more on the outside of the characters themselves than Chinese. So those things can make it nearly incomprehensible sometimes. There's a substantial amount outside. But doing this is so much fun because these sentences, while I didn't know how to read any of these sentences, this is, I've done less. I definitely spend way less effort being able to read these sentences than Japanese. 太阳出来了，出来了。And then this is my vocabulary. 慢慢消失。So this one, we have Zhu, and this is our new character. We have in the it's whoops. Lu Zhu, right? Yeah, Lu Zhu.
露珠，
太阳出来了，露珠慢慢消失。
Dewdrops. So, you know, the sun came out, dewdrops are slowly disappearing, right? Or evaporating, or being basically disappearing. Being lost, disappearing. Yeah. 太阳出来了. It's a really pleasant sentence. Yeah. 露珠慢慢消失了. Or 消失. Yeah, it makes sense. Anyways. Also, the average, like, how should I say this? The average tonality of Mandarin, like 普通话, the tonality is gross enough, and not gross as in like a bad thing, but gross as in the fluctuations are big enough that it accents English speakers quite a bit. So a lot of times English has a lot of strong fluctuations, right? And because of that, there is a way, after a while, the beginning, the ear training actually flows very well into the tonality. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of those higher fluctuations, a lot of the synthetic voices, like the baseline synthetic voices, they typically capture enough of the tonality. So when you're like listening to another person, it's largely the vocabulary and the homonymic, like the homonyms and the overlaps, that makes it incomprehensible, not necessarily the sound of it and then the enunciation of it. So that kind of presents a gentler understanding where when you have tools and they have to, like, you have to hear a lot of things and synthesize and stuff. I actually think the synthesis is it's very sufficient. Now, I say it's sufficient, but it could still be because my parents are Chinese and I've listened to Chinese my entire life. Now, you might be saying, well, yeah, of course you listen to Chinese your entire life. That's why Japanese is hard. It's like, no, I listen to Japanese even more my entire life. Like, I actually spend more time listening to Japanese than Chinese. And it's still because of the subtlety. The subtlety of pitch accent is not the same as the inherent grossness, the dynamics of tonality. And despite a lot of people, English speakers, thinking that tonality would be the scary part about Mandarin, in my opinion, it's one of the boons of investing forward. So the tonality takes a huge investment at the beginning. However, it pays out really, it scales to the end game Japanese subtlety in their pitch accent doesn't scale to the end game. It feels relatively the same consistently through the lifespan so far of looking. It's like, oh, okay, I guess they just want to pitch up here. Oh, okay, this kind of feels like it pitch down, but pitch up. It's like, okay, this vocabulary where it could be pitch up or pitch down. It kind of feels like it can go either way. In Chinese, it's like, that something sounds a little off. I feel like my tonality is just derailed in this sentence here. It's like, ugh, why does that feel off? Because there's more dynamic shifts. You can think of it a lot more like a melody or a track than in Japanese. I think Japanese feels more like a drum. Like you're comparing like a rhythm guitarist with a drummer. And the drummer has really elegant, it accents things, it keeps things like consistent and well spaced and regular, right? It feels like it, but in Chinese it's ebb and flowing. It keeps ebb and flowing, but there is a rhythm and unity to it. It's just it ebbs and flows in a way where when the rhythm kind of like goes in a different direction, it's like, whoa, that kind of feels weird. Man, I thought the rhythm would have went in a different direction there, but it kind of took off in a, like it went higher instead of lower. So there's a chord progression. It feels like there's chord progressions in Mandarin, while in Japanese it feels like you got to stay on beat. If you're off beat, it's kind of weird. Like you, and it also demonstrates how much as a drummer, like if you're thinking about a drummer, like the beat line and whatnot, when that beat line falls off, everything else falls off, right? Like the things get like lost. Meanwhile, a rhythm guitarist can like lean in and lean out. So in a way, if you're not used to being a little bit loose with your pronunciation, then Japanese might be very attractive. If you're slightly loose with listening skills, like knowing that you should listen loosely a little bit and still consider the overall tone of Mandarin, then it feels like a rhythm guitar. Like sometimes, sure, you'll throw in a slightly slower chord here, a gradual, and then English is, in my opinion, kinda like a keyboardist. You're trying to describe as much of the sound as possible, but they're all very distinctly separated. And when they're distinctly separated, you can combine all of them to create it. So when you go and look at a keyboard and you're looking at your chords, you're looking at buttons, and those buttons are fixed. And then when you like hit certain keys in certain order, I know their keyboards can, be amplified and all that, but when you're looking at the core buttons, those are the buttons that stay static. And how you compose with those buttons creates the overall sound. And what happens is when you do it rigorously enough, it's always off to the same things, and then you have to do a lot of it, right? There's a lot of it. Lots of strokes on a piano compared to the elements of a drum, and then strings of a guitar. So that's kind of like my developing musical analogy to at least my relationship with Chinese, Japanese, and English. I've been working on some metaphors and some analogies to kind of make it fun and maybe a little bit more approachable from other people's perspective, so that maybe they can get interested in language learning from the perspective of, I don't know, cursory music. Like, as I love music and I used to play music and produce music. Kind of interesting. I listened to a Chinese song recently, a Mandarin song, and yep, I can't understand a single word they're saying. and what I mean by that is, I don't understand the song because they said it. I understand the song because I know what they're talking about. or what they're singing about, because when I'm listening for the tonality, it's out the window. I think it lines up like 20 or 30% of the time, the song that I was listening to. I'm like, holy heck. And I don't think that's ever changed. I've listened to so many Mandarin songs over the course of my life, and it still feels like I have like dyslexia or of the ear, or like some sort of tone. It makes me feel tone deaf, basically. Like, I'm not tone deaf to the pitch of the person singing, I'm tone deaf to the language. I don't understand, like, and it is actually a real thing. Mandarin, I'm not sure if newer songs are like Canto, like a little Cantonese situation where they try to make the song bind to the tonality, but it's still a very real thing. Older songs, it's very difficult to not feel tone deaf when you're trying to listen to the song for lyrical understanding. Sometimes song you can't hear what they're saying unless you search up the lyrics. Exactly. Yeah, but in Chinese, one of the guys that you were probably listening to, I'm not sure if you like in channel, one of those channels on language, someone broke down in essay like the statistics on how Mandarin lyrics were written versus Cantonese lyrics. And Cantonese lyricists, they try to write lyrics, they are more inclined to write lyrics that preserves the tonality of Cantonese, while Mandarin for the longest time did not. And they roughly said like it's less than half of the time the tonality is preserved. So what you have to learn is, in singing Cantonese, use Chinese, yeah, and not Cantonese. So it will sound weird and not natural, just like how Cantonese, yeah. But the thing is, you can, as a scholar that is learning the language, you can see the preservation of the tonality. In Mandarin, they don't do any of it. Like, rarely. It's even different in Mandarin, where, so when you're learning based on tonality, it makes it even more difficult, in my opinion. So you have to get used to the new pattern. It's kind of like listening to a new pattern of when you're listening to Mandarin music, which I have in my life. I have a different set of tonality, common tonality strings that do not exist when I'm reading Mandarin. Like the way they say I love you a lot, there are many different ways to say I love you. The only reason I know they're saying I love you and I have feelings for you, or like I'm feeling miserable and we should help each other, that type of thing, is because the context of the song is providing me to fill in the potential lyrics, the commonality of the lyrics. It's not the tonality that's getting me the language. If you're trying to capture the tonality, you would need to know every time they varied how to say I love you in the Mandarin. At least I always choose I love you because in Mandarin songs, there's a far more richer, bigger depth, like lots of more ballads. Like Chinese music tend to be very ballad heavy, so there are certain phrases that come up and they would have like 4 or 5 different tones, like mixtures in terms of the sentence they structure. And I'm like, okay, well, it's all of them. The only way I would understand the lyric is because I picked up enough to assume that's what they're saying. And Cantonese turned out that they actually do a bit more than Mandarin. So no, I whatever pronunciation they actually use, it's still according to the word's enunciation. So the tonality is still preserved for the characters of the lyric that they're trying to promote. And then they have like some special things. If you love Cantonese swear words, it's just normal for okay, that's fair. I know the swear words for Cantonese and Mandarin, but I'm not going to say them, obviously. But I can think of one that I would say immediately, and it would be the one. It would be at least the one out of the 3. Definitely. It kind of sounds like a Pokemon. Okay, maybe like a Pokemon guy. If you think about Pokemon and guy and contract Pokemon and guy together, that's definitely one of them. I'll let you use your imagination. That's kind of funny that now I can kind of do this. Fun times. In Malaysia, you kind of use to allow you to trip or fall, by the way. Yeah, that's actually kind of where it comes from too. Like what I mean is one of the origins, I'm not sure about how Malaysia got to it, but that's actually kind of the idea. One of the ideas is like it's more like I think of it as more like shoving someone and causing them to fall. it combines the idea and the action. I don't know if that's a coincidence though. It kind of, when you say that, it kind of makes you want to kick someone down or trip someone. So you use it as a trip normally, so it's not a swear word for us in this context. That's fair. Most things are not a swear word in most contexts. Like what I mean is, we have to be clear that I don't use specific words for their intent, largely because I'm on a public forum and it's moderated, right? Or like community guidelines. But you have to know that most English words, there is no swearing and swearing with the same words too, because the meaning suggestion is the most important thing, right? So, I agree. Actually, I would say a lot of times, like a very common English word that's used as a vulgarity is often 80 to 90% of the time, they're not actually using it as a swear word. Like a particular word that starts with F, I think most of the time, 70 to 80% of the time, people don't use it as the swear word. They use it as like an action. Does like the F word have a lot of meaning that doesn't mean the original meaning? Yeah. Lots of it. Oh wait, did you ever see this act? Hold up. I'm sure you saw this act. English is something like English is a weird language. No. It was something like English learning comedic act. What is the guy's name? No. No, it's not that guy. There's plenty of this, but I'm looking for a specific guy who took a swear word and show you how many ways hang on, let me see if I can find the comedian very quickly. Oh, here it is. I think. No, it's not him. Oh, here it is. His name is Ismo. He's a Finnish comedian. Let me make sure. Sorry. All right, here we go. This one. Yeah, for the most part, the reason why I say this is because I have my best friends. When I met them, they use those words a lot, but it's rarely ever intended for the exact swearing. It was used for comedic purposes, and the comedic purposes is to use it in a context that is not meant to be offensive, or not meant to use it as like you're getting angry at someone or you're challenging someone. It's actually used every other possible way other than that. The reason why I've talked about this with Procall and whatnot, that I refrain from using it is largely that not that I don't understand how versatile those words are and how there are different sensitivities with this, is that I'm trying to be as professional and agreeable as I can in public, because this is a public forum and I am not the owner of these platforms. And personally, it doesn't hurt my feelings, but it may hurt others. So if I had to choose with someone who's like annoyed at me for not speaking my mind or using words that they would like to use, I would prefer that, because that person is far more identifiable. They are able to like take it or leave it. They can hate me, but that's good because it's worse than unintentionally hurting someone. It's my personal feelings about it. So I would choose the utilitarian approach most of the time in a public space. I hope that's, for whoever in the future sees this or talk about that, I hope that's a little bit more reasonable, right? If someone hates me for self-censoring, I prefer that than hurting someone unintentionally through the consistent use of a word, because I feel those who are hurt are more likely to recover from it than those who don't get hurt by it, who are more outwardly projecting. If they're outwardly projecting, then they already have a strong identity. So any amount of swear words I place in my thing either makes them more resonate with me or not. However, if I'm doing that in order for them to resonate with me, then I'm not being myself. So being myself means that the irony here a lot of times with swear words is that some people project that in order to be yourself, you have to be not self-censoring. I totally understand that. I get what that means. It's very liberating, but self-censoring is part of my culture. Like, that's what it's like to be a son of Chinese parents. And I would say, by extension, that is what it's like to be Japanese. One of the main cultural differences between someone who may be angry at another person for self-censoring, being polite, and constantly putting the public's opinion and images in public space first is something that can be very resonating with people maybe in the Eastern Hemisphere, right? So that's what I ask for people to understand when we talk about swear words, of course. And obviously be careful of YouTube and Twitch when you're writing these. You can be a little cheeky about it. I'm okay with that. Like, I understand how words work. People around me use swear words. Like, it's not the same when those words are being used as not those things. And that's fair. Like, and then I find replacements, which is technically I use them in a manner that isn't the aggressive thing either. Like, I use the word heck, right? But it's not used in the manner that it is in that I use heck as a response. Like, oh man, oh heck. Like, dang it. Right? I use dang it. Gosh darn it. Son of a bee sting. Well, that's a big oof. So there are quite a lot of other ways to express things for the meanings that those words can also have. And that's why I'm not self-censoring. I'm finding ways to express it in my own way. I'd rather be someone who is known to say son of a bee sting than the equivalent phrase, which is still not the same thing as the phrase that it is notoriously known for being offensive, right? And I think English goes really hard on that too. In fact, I feel if I go to Malaysia, I would love to hear how you rotate those types of words. Emotional words take on a lot of meaning, like lots and lots of meaning. And I can only imagine what it's like if the language is also tonal. because then the tone also varies with the execution of the language. In English, since tone, stress, length, volume does not impact, right, specifically any particular word, the most emotional words get the most elaborate meanings because they are the most frequently need to differentiate. Like bruh, for example. I mean, brew, bruh, bruh, bro, all of them are technically modifications of the one word. And they have so many meanings. Hence, since there's no formal ruling on how stress accent is done, you know, the volume, the beats, the pitch, right? Since there's no formal ruling, it creates a really vast amount of confusion. And that vast amount of confusion allows leeway for the understanding. And I think swear words in English has taken on that feel. And you can kind of see it right now. It's a real thing right now because there's not a consensus on how frequent that should be allowed on certain platforms, largely because of exposure. Early exposure can lead to confusion without a basis for tact or morality use. Like if someone learns something very, very early on without the foundations of like appropriateness and whatnot, then that can remove the choice of understanding that when someone gets angry at you for something, it's due to the noise of confusion of the mixed meanings of a specific word. It's not specific enough anymore. It's become too elaborate. And English kinda, in my opinion, is already elaborate enough because it's, you know, lingua de franca. So it's already elaborate enough where when you go to another country, the English changes to I learned something and it's English word with like 36 plus definitions, and you decide that when you go to another country and use that same word as your foundation. Yeah, the butt video is funny. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It means all of them. Yeah. You're gonna go shower and prepare for school. Good luck. Good luck, Sharon. Thanks for hanging out in the morning. Good luck this month. I don't know how confident you feel. I wish you the best, you know. Rest up. Take your, you know, go at it, and I look forward to hearing good things. Happy thoughts, at least. You're in like a very important part of your life, and I can only imagine what your parents, family, I can only imagine what they are thinking right now. It's a big moment. No pressure, obviously. I'm sure you have enough pressure already. So I look forward to hearing. If I don't hear from you in a month, I know you're busy working on that exam. Best of luck. Hopefully the stars align as well, right? So all the luck that you've made, and hopefully and then some for your future. Good luck, good luck. Take care, Chen. 先说 What is happening? Oh.
先锋，
艺术家常常被称为文化先锋。
先锋. Why didn't I get light bulb? What did I type the first? Oh, they didn't take bulb. Bulb was not enough. I kind of get it. But this was boom, but oh no, I might be mixing it up with something. Oh,
训斥，
他受到
sure.
爸爸的训斥。
All right, what am I doing here? We have the foreman and a scepter, right? So, oh,
没
cool, 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 cool.
桑叶，
我喜欢采桑叶。
Oh no.
凉，
Nailed it.
蚊子，
我用手拍死了一只蚊子。
Ah! I swear that looks like a knee. Why did they go with Ren? Why? Oh. Oh, wait. This could help. Oh. Wait, oh no. We already know this one. Whoops. I didn't write the whole thing. No, we're still looking for the one with the grain stock on the bottom. What? Oh no, tranquil. Oh no, that's tight. That's tight. 泰国. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. Sorry. Let's recompose ourselves here.
汪，
All right, so right yen because postage. I don't know how.
怨言，
他对生活总是有怨言。
I don't know how the postage fits into all this, but we're gonna look at it afterwards. You know.
爱，木匠，
木匠擅长制作家具。
What incarnation? Oh,
芭蕉，
他们在院子里种了一些芭蕉。
泰国，
我想去泰国旅行。
吻，
that's gonna get lost, man. That is in trouble when being recent and still a bit is scary. This one too.
匪，
It's kind of like robber, thief, and pirate. Oh, yeah.
钻孔，
That's probably our
你可以在墙
solution.
上钻孔吗？
Zhuang Kong. Just remember Zhuang next to Kong. For the whole thing. That'll be sufficient, probably. Oh, this definition is a little wonky.
挥霍，
我们不应该挥霍资源。
Squander, right?
艾草，
他用艾草来熬汤。
Oh no. This one is rough. How do we do it? Okay.
横，
Shed. This one's okay.
豆，
Oh no, wait, it's not that okay. The meaning is not so okay. Ease. What? Oh wait. Bung, not bang. 汗津津。
汗津津。
他跑完步，全身汗津津的。
之。同人。
我们必须尊重每位同仁。
彩虹。
孩子们喜欢画彩虹。
That's kind of interesting. Kids like drawing rainbows. I wonder if that's true. I'm not sure if I drew a rainbow when I was a child. Don't worry, I think I'm a normal boy. Well, at least in my adult life, I'm pretty convinced I'm a normal boy. But I'm not entirely sure if I drew rainbows when I was a little kid. And the reason why I'm saying the real boy thing is rainbows have a spectrum of color, right? And typically when I'm thinking about, oh, children like drawing rainbows, is because oftentimes they're curious about the colors. When you're given crayons, you would want to reflect something that allows you to use the tools that you can explore, right? And oftentimes when you think of colors, you think of a rainbow. A rainbow has largely the characteristics of all the colors of the visible spectrum, right? But I can't earnestly remember if I drew a rainbow. I'm not even sure if I drew anything. Maybe I have drawn something. I remember that the most recent memory, like the earliest memories that I've ever thought about is something in elementary school. I did draw something. Don't quite remember though. And I only knew that because in high school, I got to see some of the things I did in elementary school because of like a psychologist evaluation. Yeah, I got evaluated by a psychologist. At least I thought that was a psychologist. It could be like a school counselor or something. But I got evaluated by a psychologist, middle school to high school. And some of the old stuff from elementary school, which came from a different district, came up. And I clearly remember seeing the grayish line paper that was used to learn cursive. Because in the early days, elementary school students were still, even despite being in like a lower socioeconomic area, one of the things you learn is learn how to write cursive. So I clearly remember those gigantic, these like huge, gigantic line paper that's like off gray. And then, you know, you're doing like this stuff. Right. I remember these times. And then I quickly threw this out the window. By the time I got to high school, my you have these line papers like college rule paper, and this is how I write most of the time. I convert this into two lines, two sets of lines, and I write this way. This is how I write. But by the time the end of high school, that's my handwriting. I only write in capital letters, and then I only change the size of the letters in order for legibility. And I did this because this would, in my opinion, was the most pragmatic way to fit double the volume of things I have to write. So whenever I answer a question, it was really comical actually. I still remember this. My 10th grade? I think it's my 10th grade science teacher. She said that she literally broke out a magnifying glass to read my handwriting to answer the questions, because a lot of times in the homework, you know, you have a question and then there's a space, right? And I would fill up every single inch of the space. But because I write at like 8-point font, she literally demonstrated that you can take a magnifying glass and you can see that I've written all of the stuff. And what I did before is I literally, and I'm unapologetic about this, I read everything and I copied everything. So whenever like someone, when they asked a question and the question was answered by the book, right, I would literally do what I have learned, which is to copy all the details, because I didn't learn how to paraphrase yet. That's I haven't even talked about this part of my learning abilities. When I was young, like, you know, right now on average I do encounter people who are less than 18 years old, right? This is the same time frame as my younger self. When I was in high school, I still had problems understanding how to paraphrase and think independently. So instead, I memorized everything verbatim. And the reason why I could do this is because there's no rule against it. When they say do your homework, how do you show you do your homework? You show that you've read the whole thing. So everything was important to me. I didn't know how to rule out things that aren't important. And paraphrasing involves that. Like, oh, this is, you know, this clause is not that important, so you can omit it. This clause can be generalized and summarized in a different way. So instead, my homework was legitimately passages from the book. So it demonstrated that I know where the passages are from the book, what the words are there, and when I take exams and stuff, I legitimately reproduce the words that are in the book. And that is it takes a lot of effort, in my opinion. It arguably, I think it takes even more effort that I personally think is a bit wasteful. But it is the part, it's not filled with regret, because that's kind of how I learned. I had to learn how to copy something before I learned how to create my own identity. So nowadays, I still see the similar things, only they've taken on a new dynamic approach. Like, for example, using ChatGPT. Now it's dynamic. The copying and passing off as your own answer is now dynamic. So the thing you're copying is no longer static. It itself is dynamic. And that is still, in my opinion, part of the process of becoming an independent thinker, a critical thinker, and a problem solver. And without the proper, in my opinion, without the frequency and proper challenges and stimulation of younger people, effectively, I worry about their lack of independent thought. I say this not from studying or looking at patterns. I say this because I thought I had a pretty dynamic environment and I struggled with independent thought. I get good grades, like, you know, don't get me wrong, straight A student, 4.0s, but that is not, it doesn't indicate if you're an independent thinker. It indicates that you can answer questions correctly. Like, you understand facts, you know facts. However you remember it is definitely up to you. Some people work really hard, some people don't. I worked really hard. I don't think I was particularly intelligent in that way. I was intelligent in a different way, which was interesting. Like, I was identified as a gifted person, not for the thing that I thought I was good at. It was vocabulary. Like, it was reasoning skills. So my thought was, but I can do math well and other stuff because I regurgitate things. I'm very good at imitating and reproducing and replicating. And then it was a bit of growing pains when you get to college and then graduate school when there isn't a model for you to copy, right? You're supposed to mature into your own independent thinker. That's what higher education is supposed to encourage you. You take all the foundations. So then whatever I was doing in high school, it wasn't good enough. And that doesn't mean I fell flat on my face and hit a wall. It meant I had to adjust. And I learned to adjust. So instead of imitating static things, I started imitating dynamic things. And those dynamic things encouraged me to form my own independent thinking. And that's what I mean by if I'm thinking about SRS and collecting information, I see that the internet is the static dynamic thing. It's actually becoming far more static than it is dynamic. Like I talk about ChatGPT and stuff, but remember that algorithms preferentially and consistently behave a certain way. So despite having some level of dynamics, you are no longer more dynamic than looking and observing human behavior in different contexts and contexts outside of your realm of comprehension and within your realm of comprehension, but not exactly. So if you're doom scrolling on the same content, that is not what I'm referring to. That is the very nature of why I struggled with independent thought and problem solving until I was thrust and thrown into a dynamic situation. If you're wondering about adaptations, right? When people talk about, well, I can't see myself doing anything else. Yes, I would agree with you. That's probably likely what you're going to think because you spend environment that make you think it's a dynamic environment, but it rarely changes. How you get reward, how you schedule things, how you get your reward, but how do you engage in problems, how you memorize things, all that stuff is all algorithmically enriched. So you don't have to change yourself. You don't have to adapt to changes. You're never challenged critically anyways. And what's kind of paradoxical or a little vicious about that is if you never think you have to change the way you think or solve problems or have to change your level of effort, input and output, it gets lower. It gets continuously maximized and more efficient. So you get more and more efficient at doing that because you're human, which makes you good at that. And then it becomes harder and harder to do the critical thinking and self-discovery and stuff over time. And that was kind of why I wanted to share that, because when I was a kid, I was a potato. Like, I think if I had to be really honest with myself, I was rewarded for being dumb. Like, what I mean by that is, it's not a bad thing. Dumb, I know it's a very negative thing. Maybe I want to say I was rewarded for being naive because I didn't know what it is to be a critical thinker when I was a younger student. I knew I got good grades, right? I do things that are asked of me. But when I look back on my developmental period as a child, I didn't think for myself. And you might be thinking, well, couldn't you have? It's like, well, yes, no, because the environment we lost the other part of the equation. The environment is assuming that the child has a dynamic environment outside of school to complement school. But if your environment is both compromised in and out of school because of identity issues, how do you expect a child to develop its independent? Hello there, Bree. I'm doing pretty well. I'm a little tired because daylight savings time happened and we yapped the yap yesterday. I met a new person who works night shifts, who's Canadian and in the same time zone, so that was kind of neat. Very rambunctious. You're probably seen some of the chatter in Discord. It's the same person. So we went really hard, and today we're going really soft. I was just chatting with Churn earlier. Churn is taking his like exam of a lifetime. It looks like Malaysia still does the like the also the Chinese method and the Japanese method of things, where the exam is like incredibly in front, like summation thing in, you know, as opposed to like the United States, which I do feel, if I had to concede for something, the graduation exams are a drop in the overall thing when it comes to high school education. So Chern is officially graduating soon. I'm excited. Apparently this exam that he's taking takes over a month's time. That sounds incredibly, like, if I think of myself, and this is why I'm reflecting on my childhood. I was giving an example of what I see in younger adults now that I saw in me when I was younger, and the symptoms align with the conditions of the environment a lot. You just got home after spending 9 hours at the emergency vet. Did you encounter a dog situation? A cat situation? What type of emergency are we talking about? And you place it in quotes. Spending 9 hours. That's kind of unfortunate. Is it your partner's dog? Go. Tell me a little bit more about it. Hopefully despite having the emergency vet situation, hopefully the 9 hours are as best as they can be.
Ling邦，
这个邻邦经常帮助我们。
Right.
Go.
Strike off, cut off? Is it like cut off, scratch off? Probably like strike off. Heck! Probably scratch off. Cross off! Oh my gosh, we need to write all these. Scratch off, cut off, strike off. Oh boy.
Weng.
We're kind of at the end. Like, this is our last one, so I would love to hear a little bit more about your 9-hour emergency vet. And you laughed about it, so hopefully it's something like there's a humorous story behind it, you know? One of your 3 doggos, she was vomiting since last night, couldn't keep food or drink down. Well, that doesn't sound. Pretty much the entire 9 hours was spent waiting to be seen. After she was finally seen, we were gone within an hour. She has pancreatitis and has to be on 4 meds and bland diet for 10 days. Pancreatitis. That doesn't sound great. What specifically is pancreatitis in a doggo? Like, what? How does that come to be? I'm sorry to hear about your doggo. Hopefully the doggo does recover, adjust well. Yeah, the waiting thing, veterinarian, I can't imagine. I feel like the stuff that you share with me is tied to your environment, right? Most of your accessibility stuff tends to be tied to your environment at this point. So I'm not surprised that you spent most of the time waiting. It seems like resources a bit restrictive when it comes to your environment. Which of the doggos? This is something that I imagine they can recover from. I don't know anything about pancreatitis in dogs. Actually, I don't know anything about pancreatitis in general. I imagine it leads to indigestion and nausea in some way because they were vomiting the whole time. Pancreatitis, maybe an inability to secrete digestive enzymes, so it would cause upset stomach and nausea. I don't know about pain. Not entirely sure about pain. Not a pathologist. No idea. Or a gastroenterologist for that matter. No, very little. What was this? Elbow. Container. Oh, they wanted like cross out. Alright. Today was pretty good. We managed to avoid the big hammer for you. So let's get on our reviewing. And then rest up for tomorrow. We'll start a little bit earlier tomorrow. Alright. So... Ciao. Yeah. Way. Cho. Jiu. I wonder if... yeah, it's probably... Yeah. True. Inflammation of the pancreas, most of the time it's idiopathic, but the vet speculated it could be she ate a toy or something and it aggravated her pancreas. Oh, okay. Trixie, she's one of the 2 hound husky kitties we have. Ooh, one of the big ones. Are all your dogs Big-O? Big-O doggos? It can be deadly, but you caught it early enough that the vet was optimistic. The antibiotics, anti-nausea, and acids and digestion will help her recover. Okay. Well, there is most definitely... that sounds like a silver lining to me. Hopefully the smile on Trixie and the seeing her recover makes that 9 hours feel like something rewarding. Yeah, 1 chihuahua. Okay, then the 2. Right. 9 hours. What did you do? What do you do when you know you have to wait 9 hours, or when you're waiting? What were you doing during the waiting period? Did you notice anything? I mean, outside of the constant concern for your... what do you usually do in these situations? Or what have you done in the period that you were waiting? I didn't even realize... oh, wait. I didn't even realize you can be there for 9 hours. If you know what I mean. I haven't ever been to a veterinarian, so I'm not entirely sure how that works. I've had taken one of my parents, to because of an emergency, and 3 hours, probably 3 hours. It's complicated, but long story short, we ended up leaving and being charged for the time. It was complicated. You were just sitting in the car pretty much and walking Trixie around because she was so not nauseous, and walking seemed to help her a bit. Oh, okay. Fair enough. 9 hours. Jingji. Bullshit. 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 Tian. Tianche. Yeah, the bill was basically 700, 692, but close enough, yeah. To give you like a really fast Spark Notes, my mother had a long lasting like abdominal pain, so we went to the emergency room and it took like 2 or 3 hour wait, and then when they finally got her to like the preliminary, then she started dressing for the operation, and it turned out to be a very involved operation because the way she described it, it was maybe something very serious. So when I explained it, I was the interpreter, right? When I was explaining what was going to happen or what they're gonna do, my mother was like, nah, that's not it. My parents decided against it. So then we left. So she got changed and we left. So because she was admitted to the, you know, room and that stuff, we were I don't know if the insurance covered it or not, but it was like $300 for the time that was done, but not. And then what happened, what instead we got a second opinion. It was some sort of abdominal stomach virus so eventually that passed. The reason why they said no was because the emergency, whatever that operation was, she was either uncomfortable with it, and it also probably cost several $1,000s to do, and that's kind of the long story of it. So we went there, 3 hours, we waited, they decided against it, we came back, and then she was okay after the next few days. That's kind of my parents in a nutshell when it comes to emergencies. And obviously I was the interpreter, so I'm genuinely the interpreter. Okay, so we had the wig and the grain. What was the wig and the grain? Oh, Qing Chao. Zhuang. Xiang. I don't want to make it sound like it was not worth it. Nearly every action that I think about is worth it, because the person that I care about is what that it all goes toward. So if I had to think about money and money well spent, I mean, it was not my place. I'm the son, but paying the thousands of dollars in order to have a peace of mind is also an option. But it was my mother's comfort and decision that we left the emergency room. my parents are getting a little bit old, and hypochondria, becoming hypochondriac is that type of tendency can happen, and it's a relatively understandable safeguard when one becomes older. The silver lining here is, since you mentioned the amount of the silver lining about your situation, right? Or maybe like trying to be more sensitive to your situation is, for my end, I've gotten to the point where finances and time is something that is not something that I'm lacking, is my parents. So whatever I do for that is worth it, right? And to be more sensitive to your situation, I can only say this because my family has now become financially secure, and it's more of the comfort of their life that they can't seem to want to embrace. Like, that's kind of what I mean by my parents in a nutshell. They still prioritize saving money and doing things in a frugal manner, despite the constant battle with concerns about their health. And so when you think about people who save money and have a lot of money now, or have sufficient money, they also don't really have the capacity to want to spend it or use it in a way that would elevate their quality of life. And I'm usually the person who's there to witness, and most of the time I don't overstep my boundaries. When my parents don't want an operation, despite it giving them peace of mind, and we're not financially strapped, they would still choose the former. It's more of a chicken or the egg. The egg that came first in this situation is that we have the money that we have and the financial security that we have due to the sacrifices of my parents. And because of those sacrifices, they're also unwilling to use some of that sacrifice when it's no longer rationally important to me and my sister. And that's the type of stuff that I get into on a daily basis when emergencies come up, as a form of sharing. Like, if my father has like a stomach ache, my mother would like complain about my father having a stomach ache, but he doesn't want to go to the doctor. So if he goes to the doctor, when my mother finally convinces him to go to the doctor, he decides that whatever the doctor says, he doesn't want to go through it because of money or other forms of concerns that was to remove the concern in the first place. So that's the type of negotiation that I typically do on an emotional level most of the time, as opposed to a financial level. But my parents make it a financial obstacle. I often find myself reminding them that the money that they saved all their lives, I'm not trying to be ungrateful about it, but we also don't need that money anymore. Me and my sister are incredibly, like, the money they've already invested in us, that that money that's gone now, it's spent, that it returned in dividends, and now the money that they save, they can barely find themselves willing to spend it. It's an interesting duality. Those who have money tend, you might think of like internet influencers who are able to spend money to make more money. Yeah, I think those are far more exceptional than a situation in which someone who didn't have a lot of money, a family that didn't have a lot of money, now has sufficient money. It's not necessarily due to the behavior that they know how to spend money and make more money, but they know how to save money. And then I'm the next generation, right? So I'm getting more closer to the idea of being able to spend money, invest money, and then make money with existing money. But my parents don't know how to spend money, even despite their health. Makes sense. Yeah, the reason you laugh is because 9 hours for a 40-minute vet visit doesn't seem very emergent to you. Oh, that's what you mean. But you were using ironically. I see. This is the only emergency vet in your area for 30 miles. That's kind of what I anticipated. So you didn't have very much of a choice. Yeah. When I was alluding to when you described your immediate situation, you know, like when we were talking about your other things, about your accessibility to certain services, like we were talking about recreational services, you know, a recreational center or a community center, something to change the environment and stuff. You mentioned a lot of like, oh, you're in like a really remote place. So my thought was 9 hours for a 40-minute vet visit sounds like an emergency where you live. And it doesn't sound like an emergency because the internet exists. And that's kind of one of my motivations to share my example. I would consider whatever my mother was experiencing as an emergency. And yet the irony here is, despite the 3-hour wait time and the eventual thing, you might be like, I understand that this can be viewed cynically in a way. My mother, the decisions that go into the person wanting to leave or be using hospital services, that also has an impact on other people who are using the services, right? So the indecision of my parents is very important to me to understand, but at the same time, if you're talking about ifs and buts, right? If my mother decided to wait another day, then that emergency would not have happened. However, I considered it as an emergency because it could have went a different direction. So that's kind of one of those things. It's nice to hear that your doggo was caught early and they will be able to recover. Although that's also one of the things about owning a pet, right? Or owning another family, like having another family member in your family. They do age and they also require caretaking. So I would see emergencies as a natural part of raising something. I thought about this. People ask me a lot of times if I have pets. I find it really charming that other people, like, I would say the large majority, if not everyone, I think outside of my immediate family, like just me, my family is probably the only one that I know well that doesn't have an extra family member of the pet variety, of the animal variety. So nearly every, I would say if not every, nearly every single one has had a kind of an analogous experience with what you're sharing with me. And I think that's also a choice that they made. And I often wonder how they respond to these situations, these emergency situations. I'm sorry to hear that it took you your entire day. I think there is sometimes things to do in that time. I don't know if it was very appropriate for your situation. Oftentimes there are silver linings that can happen in those 9 hours. Like for my parents and I, we talked about as many things as we can to get my mother's mind off of the pain situation. I know it's a dog, but it's interesting to hear that you were walking and whatnot. I imagine your partner was also with you, because no, you didn't specify if it was just, oh yeah, more than one person. That we hopefully no more bad stuff, right? For a bit outside of your usual aging things. I don't imagine Trixie is old enough to experience these things as a natural cause as opposed to a necrotic one. He did actually go last night, but they wouldn't even let you on the wait list because they were so backed up, so we had to go home. I see. She's 3 years old? Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to catch things early, right? It's long life ahead. It's kind of interesting to have a small remote area have veterinarians backed up. Is pet ownership a thing, like a very common thing in your area? I'm not, I'm not gonna sit here and try to guess all your motivations for having 3 animals in your house, but I can imagine at some point a discussion was made about how that experience is going to be like and all the potential, like one would be hopefully prepared for all these potential outcomes. Like in the next 10 or 15 years, I spent quite a lot of time preparing for all of the things that will inevitably happen with my parents, right? Medical bills, insurance, Medicare, retirement. And I'm not equating my parents to animals, but the idea is at some point, in animal, right? In animal was a choice people made. My parents are not a choice. And the receptionist said they had 2 dogs hit by cars, so the 2 vets that were there were both in surgery that were expected to take a while, so the other people that are already waiting would be waiting even longer. That's unfortunate that happened. I guess when it rains, it pours. Not sure about dogs getting hit by cars in remote areas either. I feel like that's awfully it's incredibly, or it's very unlucky. Small. What is that? 梅举 Oh, enumerate. Eco. They can marked. How to avoid. Oh wait. No. No, 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 no. Wait, really? Oh, no, no, it's not. That's Chen. 全集。哦，乔体。是为了事主尼姑。 Yaba. Okay. So what are you doing right now? Oh, did you just come back? Oh, wait. Did you say you just came back from your... Oh, yeah, you just got home. So what are your plans for the rest of your evening? Alright, we have James Bond, who is in the bathroom of the barn, finishing up a current mission, right? Washing all the manure, and suddenly a turtle shell lands on his head. And it can only be a bad omen. Turns out it's his next mission. It's just kind of a bad omen. Alright, so then we have Yoshi, who's in the basement of the pawn shop, trying to discover footwear, sandals specifically, that could be potentially waterproof. Developing an understanding of it for his adventures. Then we have Walter White, who snuck into the bathroom of a neighboring beach house in fear and hiding of some beret-wearing goons approaching the beach from the rice field outside. We have Charlie Brown, who is in the bakery, who's unfortunately garnered the animosity of nine slender men, and he's only trying to do his job at the register. Unfortunately, the entitled men is not happy with what he's told to do. Then we have Xena. This one's kind of weird. Xena went into the basement of the bakery where she works, trying to find some ingredients for the croissants. She grabbed a handle and opened to a wooden storage of ingredients, but unfortunately found that most of it is rotten. Okay, we have Xena again, only this time she's in the electricity plant, which this is a little new, working as a guard. She noticed piles of teeth and was told that they were used to generate power, but she can only imagine what evil resulted in such large piles of teeth. Then we have Charlie Brown, who's in the basement of the house, trying to listen to his heart with his ear, sort of figuratively, trying to listen to his heart about his life, his shameful life. But why does he constantly feel shame? Alright, so we have Cole. Right, Cole is... Oh, that's a hook. That's what... I thought of it as an umbrella. That's a problem too. So I gotta remember this is a hook. So this is a hole. And what are we thinking about here? Drill, right? Kong. Kong was what? Moon. Caveman. Moon, caveman, and shellfish. Oh, I don't actually know if it's moon on the left. No, it's probably say. Probably say. This. Kong. Or drill a hole. That's probably where we're gonna offset that. And then yen. Yen is evening. Evening, and we have a postage stamp. Is that supposed to be a postage stamp? No, that's a... Yes. Yen. Which is resentment. And we gotta look at resentment. Resentment is weird. Yen. Yugi's in the bathroom of the pawn shop where he is spending his evening on shift. Oh, he's full of resentment because instead of playing his favorite card game, he summoned card the Heart of... Oh, it's a paperclip, not postage stamp. Paperclip. And a giant heart emerges. He used that to fill the toilet and countless pickers breaking it. I don't know where the paperclip comes from. That's kind of tough. Yugi is in the pawn shop bathroom, taking a break from the long evening shift. He's a little resentful because he could be organizing resentful in his heart because he could be reorganizing his, I don't know, card collection with the paper clips he recently purchased. I have no idea how paper clips, dang. Yeah, the paper clips is non-functional so far. It's the difference between a paperclip and a stool, which is what's creating the problem. Nu is the stool. Same setup. Same setup, only with a stool. And that's anger. Let's make sure the evening is still the same. Oh no, it's not. It's not evening. I meant female. Oh wait. Just kidding. Yen is evening. Oh, and there's only one mark. That's I actually wrote moon instead. Oh no, there are two differences. So evening shift, okay, so I can still use evening shift, and then it's female. Female on the stool. Okay, that's fine then. We can definitely, and it's like a female on a stool, like basically angry at Naruto or hurting her heart or something. It's something along those lines. Good enough. Alright folks, that's a wrap for HanziHero today. You're gonna watch this later. 谢谢. As always, feel free to follow along. Give HanziHero a try. Let me know what you think. You're always welcome to Yap. I hope your doggo recovers. You know, Trixie recovers well, Bree, and maybe more auspicious events happen in your life for the future. Best of luck. Happy thoughts. Always welcome to Yap. Exchange stories. I love exchanging anecdotes. Trying to keep each other motivated, right? Encourage each other to be proactive. Think about the situations and see where we can work with then. Happy thoughts. Until next time. 大家下次见. 感谢观看. Right. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye now.